G'day kids, Aussie Moto Matt here, coming at you from Mount Tambourine. I don't know, put that down. No, it's been a while. Unfortunately, due to some technical issues with some camera equipment, recording equipment, I haven't had a chance to really do anything. So yeah, so anyway, so what I'm doing today as I come down Mount Tambourine is actually doing a first impressions review of my new Forcite Mk1s helmet, which I ordered about 6 weeks ago. They said, or 5 weeks ago, they said it was a 4 to 6 week lead time to get the helmets and produced and all that kind of stuff. And well, the Forcite team did exactly that. They delivered it exactly on 5 weeks. It was just after 4 weeks to get the actual email, and then about another week to do the actual delivery. So it turned up last night, and I opened it up and I had a look at it, and I'm not doing a stupid unboxing video because I don't do that shit. But I am using it. It actually has, I don't know if you can see, I have to still work out how wide this angle is, but I am using it for navigation and telling me about alerts and stuff, which I will tell you about how good that is in a minute. But as for let's do like fit and finish first. The helmet's very nice. Finish on its very nice. Packaging was very nice. It was quite a nice experience, for lack of a better. I don't like that it's a fucking box with a helmet in it, but no, it was nicely packaged and felt very premium. Now, as for fit, I measured my head at 61, I think it was 60 or 61 centimeters, which put me into what they class as a large, extra large, and it is a perfect fit. The cheek pads are nice and tight. What you will notice, I remember the first time I looked at it and I looked at how tight the neck roll was and was wondering how my head was even going to fit. Now it does actually, when you take it off, it does grab your ears, that's for sure, but it is a nice comfy fit around your head and around your neck, and you feel quite secure in it. The padding feels very premium. I'm coming out of a HJC Alpha 70, which was about an $800 helmet when I bought it 3 years ago. I would say, I want to say it's on par with that if you want to get an idea of what it's like. Yeah. Anyway, so that's fit and finish. The helmet's very nice. The only thing that I think feels a little bit not so good, I guess, is the chin strap feels a little, I don't know, flimsy compared to my HJC, but that's about it. That's the only sort of, I mean, it's probably fine. I'm just saying it just feels, I mean, the HJC one just could be old, and I just sort of felt a little bit thicker, if it is all I'd say. The visor's fantastic. So the helmet was just, for me, was just over $1,500. I think it was a $14.99, something like that, $1,500, which seems expensive for a helmet. You know, if you look at like a nice new Shoei or a nice AGV, you know, which potentially are a more premium helmet, let's say, it seems expensive. Or if you're looking at something like a Ruroc helmet, you know, which are about $800, and you're sitting there thinking, fuck, well, where's, why so much? Well, you got to remember, as well as having a helmet, you do have a communicator system, and you do have a GoPro type sports action camera built into your helmet. Now, when you consider that all of that is all there and it weighs 1,500 grams, it is a very light helmet, considering, you know, what it's got in it. And all the electronics, depending on who's had a look, all the electronics is in the front, and no, it doesn't weigh down the front of the helmet. It doesn't feel at all like it's weighing down the front of the helmet. It doesn't make you feel like you're any more crunched up at the front, or your chin's not touching it or anything like that. I get the impression it's quite close. I feel like it's right there if you sort of look down at it, but it's not annoying or in your way or anything like that. Like, you're not going to hit it. You can poke your tongue out and touch it, but that's about it. So how good is the stuff? Well, I guess we'll have a look at how good the video is when it comes up and see how good that is. It hasn't got any image stabilization in it, so you will need to do that if you want to use it for vlogging. You'll need to do all that in post. I'm curious to know, I've got the radio on at the moment, so I'm curious to know if any of that's going to come through on the audio. So if you hear me pause all of a sudden, it's because I'm listening to, or being overridden by it telling me something. So if you don't know about the Forcite helmet and what it does, the software, which you can see there on my phone there, it is running, it's apparently hooked up with, I'm guessing, and then there's speculations about what it is, whether it's Waze or Google Maps or whatever it is. It's getting details from somewhere, so it's getting red light cameras and speed cameras and mobile speed cameras and police, and but also what it does is it's doing things like and something I noticed now, and like road issues like potholes and stuff like that. So if a pothole has been reported, or bad roads have been reported, it actually comes through and tells you about those potholes, which is really interesting. Now I live like about 10-15 minutes out of Mount Tamborine, so anyone who's come out this way knows it's sort of the middle of nowhere, really. Well, not the middle of nowhere, but it's halfway between Brisbane and the Gold Coast. So not somewhere where you would think that this would even work, and yet on one of the terrible roads that I drive on, it actually had warned me about potholes and road failures and stuff. So the fact that it's picking up that information out in the middle of nowhere, I was kind of well impressed that it actually had that all the way out where I live. So if you're a bit more of an inner city person, I can imagine how good and how up to date all the information is going to be. Just back on fit and finish, I'm going to jump around a bit here. One of the things that I was instantly impressed with is the drop down visor. Now I have had drop down visors in every single helmet I've owned. Both my Shark helmets had drop down visors, and my HJC had a drop down visor, and thank fuck someone at last went out and used their brains and actually made a drop down visor that actually goes down low enough. This one, you have got the slightest little sliver of light at the very bottom, way out of your vision. You've got to be looking for it to actually find where the visor doesn't come quite low enough. Now when I say doesn't come quite low enough, I mean you would have to like literally touch the chin bar of your helmet to get much lower. So they couldn't make it much lower, but it's super low, and it's nicely, it's like you wouldn't call it a dark tint, it's a very dark smoke tint, so it's quite nice. So with a clear visor on it, you're more than fine. I'll probably just put my fingers in front of the camera. But so like I said, fit and finish is good. The software seems pretty good at the moment. The pairing and the setting up of the device was very easy and very straightforward. They do make you go through a little tutorial on how it all works and how the little light bar in front of your chin works. Again, if you're wondering about the little light bar, so far so good. It's definitely there. It's constantly flashing red because I'm recording at the moment. So, but it will tell me left and right and speed cameras ahead and stuff like that, and just general warnings, which is kind of cool. And they say the idea of it is to become something that's just in your peripheral, that you don't actually think about, and it's there, but you learn to unintentionally look at it and pay attention to what it's actually doing, which is really cool. So we'll see how that goes over the course of time and see if it is as good as what they are saying it's going to look, because it does do all your turn-by-turn navigation and stuff as well. So now this is the first full carbon fibre helmet I have ever owned. Unfortunately, I haven't been wearing earplugs for a while, but that was due to some issues I had with my ears, and after I recently went on a scuba diving trip, so I haven't been able to wear earplugs. Now, I have been riding, and I do daily commute with my HJC R470, which is known to be a very, very, very quiet helmet. Quite a few of the reviews where the people actually put mics and actually recorded levels, it is one of the quietest helmets, you know, around. I'm not saying it's quieter than a She-Birth or anything like that, I'm just saying it's a very quiet helmet. Now, to go from that to a fully carbon fibre helmet, which everyone was saying, be very aware that it's going to be a very noisy helmet because it's full carbon fibre. So it's one of those things, I guess, you know, if you're going to have a fully carbon fibre helmet, it's probably going to be noisy. So if you want something that's a little bit quieter, it's going to have to be like a, you know, a mixed fibre type lid, which means that makes it a bit quieter, but then it's going to be heavier. So, you know, swings and roundabouts, you need to make a decision on what you want. I will get my ears sorted out as soon as possible, and I will be wearing earplugs with this, especially with the long commutes that I do every day, which is about an hour and 15 minutes every day each way to work, about a 65-kilometre commute. So, you know, I do quite a bit at high speed, like when I say high speed, over 80 or 90 kilometres an hour, and a lot of stuff on the highway. So it is important that I have something to keep it a little bit quiet. Now, I don't know what the noise is like. This is going to be interesting. This is 80 k's an hour, so curious to know how it's going to sound in post, and if I'm going to have to piss around with it and lift up volumes or drop volumes or do whatever they have to do. They reckon it's pretty good, and they reckon the audio's got dual mics, so it's supposed to be really good. See, now it just told me another thing that I had to do, but because I'm sitting here talking to myself, I didn't hear what it said. I think it was warning me that I've got to come up on a turn soon, which I know where I'm going. I just turned it on just to see what it was like. The audio that's come through the hardened carbon speakers inside is actually really, really good. Like, I'm well happy with how clear everything is. So yeah, it actually sounds really good. I know. Okay, so it's just said, you know, it gives you a nice early warning to say, you know, take the first exit onto the roundabout, which is about where I'm going to go. And then what I can't show you, obviously, because the camera's out the front, is it actually then puts a little green line to hint to turn left, just in case you missed said instructions, which is kind of cool. So but it does quite well with the drop of the volume to give you your instructions as you're going. So that's kind of cool. But as the first impressions, super happy with the helmet. Super happy with the support that's already been provided by the guys at Forcite. They have went over and above. It does feel nice to, I mean, obviously the helmet's not made in Australia, it's obviously manufactured overseas, as most helmets are. And I'm guessing the electronics is probably coming out of China or something like that. I'm guessing, not going to tell you what it is. And, but it is for me, it is an Australian company. It's an Australian, you know, helmet, and you know, it just won the Good Design Award, which is really cool. That would be the other thing I would, as a bit of a, not a huge negative, but here we are doing 90 k's an hour now. Something that I used to love about my my R470 was how well it, I want to say, cut through the air, especially on a naked bike. And I obviously haven't got any sort of, you know, front, nothing to, you know, to stop the wind buffeting everything on the front of the bike. So, and I personally like that. I like the air on my chest. I'm not going to go out and cover it up and be annoying, and not be annoying, but you know, I'm not going to cover it up. So that's probably the first thing I have. The other thing that was a little bit of a negative is it's not quite as aerodynamic as my R470. and it's not a hot day today. It's quite, I think it's about 25, 26 degrees at the moment. Let's have a look. Oh, it's 27 degrees. There you go. It's 27 degrees. So it's still not a hot day. And my head's not hot by any stretch of the imagination, but if I compare the airflow out of, and I'm pretty sure I've got the vents open properly, if I compare the airflow out of my R470, again, I can actually feel the air flowing through my helmet and through my hair in the R470, and I definitely can't in this. So, not a hugely, not a massive negative, but it's definitely there. There's, but like I said, considering if you add in the price, so if you say, let's say it's an $800 helmet, which is about the price of a Ruroc or my R470 or something like that, you need to realistically add on another $500 for a GoPro, so now we're up to $1,200, and then you need to add in the price of something like a Cardo unit. So let's say a cheap Cardo unit's about $400 in Australia, so there's about the $900, so you're talking $1,600, and what you do get is you get a helmet that you haven't got any shit hanging off. You haven't got a GoPro hanging off the front of it or off the side of it, and you don't have a Cardo unit. Even if you buy one of those ultra slimline Cardo units, it's still an extra thing hanging off your helmet, and you don't have to put up with that. So it definitely is nice and a little bit more slick, obviously, that you don't have to have those things hanging there. So as I said, the actual voice navigation is pretty good. It gives you, well, just then it gave me a warning quite a way out saying I'm going to turn right, and then it gave me another warning saying you're about to turn right, and then as basically I came up to the intersection, it said now turn right. So it is very much, the navigation system seems to be pretty good. The team at Forcite are talking about the fact that they are going to be constantly obviously updating, and as people give them feedback and say, hey, this is a problem, or this needs or why can't you do that, or why can't you do this. So yeah, look at that, like at 100, it's not, for me, it's not overly noisy, it's just not quiet. So don't expect a quiet helmet, but it is very nice. Fit and finish is very nice. It sits, if you're an intermediate oval head shape, it sits very nice. And trust their measurements is something I'd say. So double and triple check. Do your measurements on your head. Get your partner to help you out to make sure. Get them to check it, or get your friends or whoever, and then use their actual guide to get the right size helmet. They will fit, and even if if it doesn't fit, they are very much happy to go out and help out with, obviously they have a full return as long as you don't take, and wear the helmet and ride around on it and get it all dirty. As long as you keep the stickers on the front, on the visor and stuff, they're willing to have it come back for a swap out of a different size, or if they think it just needs thicker pads, they can sell you slightly thicker pads as well. So not that I think I need, like I said, I measured and it all seems very nice to me. And that's it. I will have another review in, let's say, another week or two, once I've smashed some K's out on it. I'll see how this footage looks, I'll see how hard it is to stabilise it, make it look good. But this is the road, if you, again, depending on how good this footage is, this is the road that it actually gave me a warning about and said, there's some big ass potholes. And as you can see, in the middle of nowhere here really, and it warns about these kinds of roads and these potholes and these issues with this road. So that's I mean, if it's going to warn about that, I can imagine what people that are in less regional areas may see, what updates they might get, and how much detail they're going to get about the roads that they're driving on. Alright, that's me. See you next time.